Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a wonderful Wednesday so far. Today, you guessed it, we're going to be diving into Cardano ADA, and apologies for not making a video on Cardano yesterday. I felt it was really important, given the sort of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that is gripping the crypto space right now, to talk about the broader crypto landscape. Which of course includes Cardano, because there's a lot of scared individuals right now within this market, a lot of uncertainty. You have a lot of influential crypto figures coming out and saying that they're selling their portfolios due to seeing more downside risk and so on and so forth. So I really wanted to tackle that subject with you guys yesterday. I hope you appreciated it, or certainly enjoyed it, if nothing else, because I am holding through this. I think crypto has an extremely bright future, but there's a journey that we have to take to get to adoption. And we are on it now, guys, and we're very early on that journey. And part of being early on that journey, there's a huge risk to reward ratio. There's a lot more risk associated with being early, but the reward is far greater. And there's going to be ups and downs within that journey to get to that desired destination. But I'm confident crypto is going to get there. I just think that it's going to be a rough ride at times. It's going to be plain sailing at others. Just like anything, guys, in life. So we're going to get into Cardano in this video. We're going to be doing a number of things. We're going to be looking at the market as a whole, diving into Bitcoin. This isn't typical structure that I'd like to see for Bitcoin. However, there are scenarios where this is broke to the upside. We'll dive into Cardano because it's at a pretty crucial point right now in regards to holding support and historic support that we don't really want to see broken. We're going to be talking about the network update that is going to see or optimize the Cardano layer 1 blockchain and see it have a lot more throughput, become a bit more scalable. And we're going to read this thread from IOHK. This is supposed to be coming on the border of next epoch, or implemented in epoch 319. We're also going to be talking about the fact that whales continue on a massive scale to accumulate at these prices. And in actual fact, we've got a visual representation based on on-chain analytics that show us this. And you can see this over here. So we're going to be talking about this. We covered this article previously, explaining that we see whales, we see the large Cardano holders, pretty much double their position during this downwards price action. And that is quite telling. I also want to talk to you guys about Meld. We know, and we covered the fact that Meld had their token airdropped. We covered Meld for the first time 5 months ago, which is when I started staking with the Meld pool. So I've got quite a nice bag of Meld. I'm going to talk to you about the fact that you can now actually stake your Meld via meld.com. This is just a dummy account, so I can show you very quickly how you can do that if you want to. Now, I'm not staking all my Meld for 12 months. I'm staking quite a bit of it for 6 months, and I'm keeping some on the sidelines. Reason being, when Meld as an app launches, there's going to be some sort of DeFi farming activities that the Meld token, I'm sure, will be a part of. So we'll talk about that. You can also buy Meld on SundaeSwap. This is also linked up to my test account. We bought some the other day just as a trial. So SundaeSwap, it does work. People still think SundaeSwap's broken. On the contrary, it's just congested, and that's was set out from the outset of SundaeSwap's launch, and it's actually been quite successful, certainly in wake of some of the other dexes that we've seen. Remember, guys, we do have a little bit of self-promotion here. The All-In crypto stake pool, All-In is the ticker. We're minting blocks, or have certainly hit blocks every epoch at the moment, as we are currently at 1.3 million Cardano staked with us, and we will grow when the SundaeSwap ISPO ends. There's quite a few people left to go and join that. Some people have came back given how the rewards have kind of worked out. But a huge thank you to everybody that's already delegating to the pool. Remember, we do have a link to our Discord in the description. Feel free to head on over there and join us. We're going to be doing some community calls and so on and so forth. So the markets are chip chop. Not really a great deal going on, to be honest with you. These kind of markets kill off retail, because a lot of retail can't stomach it. It's very indecisive. There's a lot of uncertainty that kind of grips the market in stages like this. Yes, this isn't typical structure that I want to see for Bitcoin, because these can often lead to downside momentum. You can see when you're kind of grinding up without any kind of assertion. However, there are also cases where it's led to upside. And right now, I feel like markets are almost overly bearish. And that is often the breeding ground for some pretty positive price movements. You know, we know that short squeezes happen at times like this when people go, okay, we're going to short Bitcoin because we see further continuation. It actually, you know, they get liquidated just like when longs get liquidated. We see huge wicks. It also works to the upside. So when everyone's overly bearish, sometimes it's a good idea to be bullish. And I am nothing but bullish on the crypto space, and certainly in regards to something like Cardano. You know, I don't see how you can't be bullish. This is a crypto that I think is going to influence the world in a big way, and impact the world in a big way. And we're still very early on that journey. Before we cover the network update, let's look at the on-chain analytics for the whales. Now, this green line over here represents Cardano holders with 1 to 10 million ADA. So that's what a whale is essentially deemed by this article. I thought it was a little bit higher than that, but that's what they've got. And you can see across the board during this negative price action, people have continued to accumulate. And certainly your larger players have accumulated more than your smaller ones. And these are people, could you call it smart money? Potentially. But, you know, certainly these are people that have a lot of confidence. And this is certainly a positive sign. You can see just the increase. And you can see that this particular group of individuals, the whales, when they've dumped their holdings, so if you look at over here, for example, where I'm moving my cursor, it's often followed. And it's been a long time since they've actually taken the opportunity to accumulate at these kind of recent lows. So that kind of, to me, suggests there's a huge opportunity there. We're also at a critical point with this kind of historic support that we're looking at. I mean, this is a really historic level for us that we don't really want to see a dip below. But whatever comes, we're ready for it ultimately. You guys know just how much of a believer I am in this space. So this was an article. I think we covered this one, or this one came out actually yesterday. We covered one a while ago talking about the largest Cardano addresses increased their ADA holdings by 113% in 2 weeks. Huge vote of confidence there, guys. Cardano as a blockchain just gets stronger and stronger despite the negative or the downward price movement. So let's get into the IOH case, Fred, and then let's talk a little bit about MELD and wrap this video up. Network update. Today we have proposed the next parameter update as we continue to increase Cardano network capacity in line with the plan. The proposal will increase the block size by a further 8 kilobytes, taking it from 72 kilobytes to 80 kilobytes. The latest adjustment represents an increase of 11%. And there's an article here talking about Cardano to increase block size by 11% to optimize the network. So what they're trying to do at IOHK is essentially maximize the layer one. So maximize the base layer of Cardano so that we can have a base layer chain that is sufficient for basic DeFi needs. And then what we are going to see as we roll into the Basho era, which is, you know, this is the year of scalability really for Cardano, where that issue gets addressed, is we're going to see things like the implementation of Hydra, side chains, and so on and so forth. So it's a very exciting year. The blockchain, and I'm talking about Cardano here, is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And in my opinion, really start to leave its competitors behind that have already hype appreciated from a lot of the things that Cardano still has to come. You guys have got to remember that Cardano got to it's the third spot without even smart contracts being live. And I think it's going to get back there, guys. You know, Cardano is one of those blockchains that I see as a real winner. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about it every single day. In addition to an update proposal, has also today been triggered to increase script memories units per transaction on the Cardano mainnet from the current 12.5 million to 14 million, an increase of 1.5 million. The increase to block size and memory units will both take effect on the boundaries of Epoch 319 on the 4th of February at 9 p.m. UTC, and are in line with our announcement plan to scale and optimize Cardano network throughput. Together, these enhancements will provide additional resources for Plutus scripts to improve dApp user experience while increasing overall network capacity. This adjustment forms part of the planned series of network optimization. Cardano will continue to steadily optimize in a series of measured steps this year, carefully and methodically scaling Cardano for further growth as demand increases. What has just been said there about demand increases is what I'm expecting for ADA. That's one reason I'm so bullish. And yes, the price action has been depressing, and that's the right word for it, to be honest with you, recently. But I do honestly believe that hodlers will be rewarded. So that's that. So I won't bother reading the rest of this. I've already kind of explained how a blockchain works. Very, very simple. It's just a chain of blocks, basically, that store transactions. And this is what gives it its kind of immutable nature. And what they're planning on doing is essentially increasing the block size. So there'll be more transactions essentially stored within these blocks, which will, if let's say you can only have 4, they're planning on adding it so that there's 5, which means that more transactions go through per block. The block happens every so often, a set time every so often. And this increases the kind of throughput of the overall network. But we've already kind of basically explained how a blockchain works, just a little bit for anybody out there that still doesn't know. Let's move on. So we covered the whale. This is huge. And obviously, like I say, just remember, when these whales have typically dumped, look at what's happened to the price. Now, for the first time in a long time, there's been a huge uptick. Do they know something that we don't? Or do they know something, that to me is quite obvious, and that is that something huge is coming for ADA. Like I said, the market is too bearish at the moment, and that is often the breeding ground for big moves to the upside. Remember your Wall Street cheat sheet and other things like that, or the Cardano cheat sheet as we coined it. That still potentially is in play. So Meld, you guys should have got the airdrop. We did talk about this 5 months ago. I've been staking with them since and got quite a lot of Meld as a result of it. You can actually go onto their... if you go to the Meld website, always use the official Meld links, by the way, guys. I have things installed on my computer that check websites before I even click on them. If you click on that, you'll come to this page. You'll, not that page, sorry. You'll come to the Meld app, and you'll essentially be able to do one of two things. You can see your balance at the bottom here, and you can also choose, show your Meld account. Here I've only got 119, which was from the trial swap that we did. This is just a dummy account that I'm using. And you can essentially go on and stake now, put your max in, the amount, you go to confirm, you have to sign the transaction, and then you're locked for 6 months. I'm choosing 6 months at the moment. A little bit of me thought about going into this one, which I'm still somewhat tempted to do. However, I also want to hold some Meld for when the actual app launches. There's no set date for that. But when the app launches, there's going to be some DeFi farming opportunities with your Meld. There'll also be some DeFi farming opportunities for your Cardano. One thing people are largely missing out with Cardano is when DeFi is actually in full swing, Cardano is going to have immense utility on top of what it already has, because you'll be able to farm and earn interest with it or on it, which is going to be huge in my opinion. So Sunday Swap, with these parameter updates, or the network updates, I should say, that are implemented in the epoch that we're rolling into, we should see Sunday Swap start to, get a little bit less congested. It's working now. The congestion is kind of dying down. Meld's actually not at a bad price at the moment, to be honest, at this kind of price of ADA. That's quite, or could be quite cheap. Certainly if Meld does as well as I think it will be. In the future, with hindsight, that would have been cheap. DeFi Llama is still the same sort of amount in. But there's a lot coming, guys. This is going to get to the hundreds, like we've already previously stated, and we're very close to it now. And then the billions of dollars in terms of total value locked. We know that Cardano is often the second most valuable chain in terms of transaction value going back and forth on the chain. There's so much to be bullish about, guys. I don't really want to keep waffling on, but I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. We're not going anywhere on this channel.